Hi everyone, I'm Roz and I'm here to talk about the change style indicator, the second version, CSI2. So what is really delightful is MHS have now determined that you no longer need an official certification to be able to use the change style indicator, and we can get you underway with using this tool very quickly, which is brilliant for people who are interested in change or working within organisations in a change management role or an external consultant. The CSI2, it does measure one's preferred style of responding to change, and it does measure the strength of that preference, and it categorises the scores into 3 different change styles. What it doesn't do is it doesn't measure people's effectiveness or proficiency in using a particular change style. It doesn't measure their level of competence in terms of dealing with change, and it doesn't present a right or wrong, a better or worse. A change style is a change style, and it's your preference. It's your change style preference. There is a correlation between change style and personality, but that's not what the designers of this tool were setting out to do. What they were really trying to uncover is what is your change style preference. So the change style is measured on a continuum, as you can see here. So at one end, we have the conservers that are into sort of more gradual or incremental change. On the right-hand side, we've got the originators who are really much more radical and expansive. And then in the middle sit the pragmatists. But you do get mapped somewhere on that continuum. Rather than I'm 100% a conserver or 100% a pragmatist, there's obviously like a bit of a blurring, like a pragmatist with a bit more of a conservator leaning or someone with a bit more of an originator leaning, as well as having people at the 2 ends of the spectrum. So when we look at these in more detail, we can look at how on a basic level, there's much more detail in the reports, which we also will look at. The conservers prefer a more cautious and gradual approach to change. They prefer to work within existing roles and policies and going, okay, what's the incremental shift here? What's the small little nudge or move that we can do in order to advance things, much more looking at making sure we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Then we've got the pragmatists in the middle, much more around that functional change. What are the demands and constraints of the current situation? Looking at results rather than preserving the situation or challenging the organisation structure. They're going to be much more pragmatic around what is the data and information telling us? What do we not have a choice about? What do we just have to change no matter what we think about it? And what bits can we not worry about and not have to think through? Being really pragmatic about the change. Then we have the originators. So they much prefer fast and radical change. They are into challenging existing rules, policy structures. They're all up for throwing the baby out with the bathwater. They are, what is that we really need to achieve here? Let's think big picture, blue sky. If we were to wipe the slate clean, what would it look like? So the CSI2 Change Style Indicator, second edition, this is what the report looks like. As you can see, it's my report. It goes through and explains to the individual what is change, what are change preferences, and why they matter. So you can use this in a number of ways, but it is exceptionally good for organisations that are going through change, whether that be a structural change or a change in the delivery of products or services that are being offered, or changes in legislation that impact the way people work. And the reason that these change style preferences matter is because we need that self-awareness around our own reactions to change and the impact of our reactions to change. That emotional insight about understanding what the sources of conflict might be during a change, because often they occur because of our different styles, our preferences around change, and we come up against each other and it can be quite emotional and cause a bit of conflict. I've briefly described what each of the main change styles look like, and if you consider a conserver who's incremental change chatting to an originator who's whole scale change, how are they going to come together and meet each other on the same page in order to get a change initiative through an organisation? So the collaboration boost that comes from understanding your change style preference, understanding what other people's preferences are, and then having a workshop where you actually test that with each other, where you get groups of people together, where you collect together one conserver, a pragmatist, and originator, and get them to work out a communication strategy or to talk about what will this change look like, and getting them to connect, understanding their different preferences and how that's going to show up. So that collaboration boost can be incredible when you use the change style indicator. Of course, too, leadership enhancement. So appreciating that diversity within a team, recognizing there's no right or wrong, and it's about using the talents and skills and preferences of each individual in order to get a better outcome overall, because collectively, the change styles make for a better change initiative if you can draw on the different styles of individuals. So it goes through the model, which I've already showed you briefly in the PowerPoint deck. So you can see there's a continuum. It talks about the conservers, that they prefer that gradual incremental change, working within existing rules and policies. Pragmatists being more functional, change based on demands and constraints, and they can see multiple perspectives. And then the originators, who much prefer that fast and radical change, can challenge and push the boundaries. So it explains that to you in the report. Then it gives you a little V, which this little V shows where you fall. So it's saying that I'm a strong originator. What this means is that I can move quite quickly when it comes to change and adapting, and I'm very comfortable with a bit of risk and uncertainty, and I can approach new situations with unconventional methods. So it picks up on what your preference was, and it gives you an overview of what that means for you, your strengths, what your challenges might be. For me, overlooking important details while pursuing innovative ideas. And that is something that I need to be aware of, like what are the potential challenges for me with my change style. Then it takes you through understanding the other change styles, which is really important, because that is where you get that potential for collaboration boost and also for leadership within a change within an organization, so that you can really think about, okay, how do conservers contribute to the team and organization, and make yourself aware of that. How do they support innovation? And what conservers look like when they lead, what their preferred work environment is, what the pitfalls are if it's overused. And same again for the pragmatists. What does it look like when pragmatists face change? How do they contribute? How do they support innovation? When they lead, what does it look like? What's their preferred work environment and pitfalls? So you can see that it goes through those three change styles and really provides quite a bit of depth of information about how that shows up. Then we work through how to improve collaboration. And there's things that can create conflict. And so it takes you through those. So you as an individual can read your report and really go, okay, yes, I will see conservers as a little bit stubborn. I'll see them too much in that detail in the administrative procedures, that they're respecting traditional authority, that I feel like they're just got their heads in the sand, right? That's how I'm going to view them as an originator. And then I've got to understand too that conservers are going to see me as an originator. They're going to see me as impulsive and unfocused. They're going to think that I'm just not actually checking in on the details about things, and I don't appreciate what's come before and all the great work that's already been done. It's really important to understand how the different change styles see each other. So it's a really comprehensive report. It gives you strategies to improve flexibility towards other styles, and what the strengths and values are of each style that can add to the team, and how to enhance leadership, coaching, and the human element. So then being adaptable in your change style. So some great information in the report to really help you to be aware of your change style, understand all of them, see how they all work together. There is also a group report for the CSI2. So this is just a sample group report. So it talks about the team profile. It gives you the midpoint. So for this team, they've got a lot of people really centered around that pragmatist change style, less so originators, and then they've got one really strong conservator out there on the end. So they may well feel quite isolated when it comes to conversations, because the majority is sitting here in that pragmatist. So what does that then mean for you as a group? So it gives you a real snapshot of what your strengths would be, what your potential blind spots could be. This is redacted because it is a sample report, but there is a lot of really great tips, how to lead through change, what it means for you as a group that's pragmatist oriented. The reports are exceptionally practical and useful. If you are interested in the CSI, there's no certification. We can get it set up for you pretty quickly, and we can provide you with the materials to be able to run your own workshops. Of course, purchasing the tool through us means that we're here for you. We will support you. If you've got any questions or you've got an idea as to how you're going to use it and you just want to check in around that, you're most welcome to reach out to us, of course, so that we can best help you with your needs. So that's the change style indicator. Fantastic psychometric tool. It's rigorous, it's reliable, it's valid, and we look forward to supporting you in its use.